Welcome to Retail Nightmares.
Yay!
I'm Jessica.
I'm Alicia.
I'm Tom.
This is my friend Tom.
No last name, Tom?
Tom Whalen.
Hey, Tom Whalen.
Tom and I have known each other for a long time.
7 or 8 years.
You're my oldest friend.
Yeah.
Tom's 100 years old.
That's very old.
Yeah.
He looks so young, though.
Thank you. Thank you. I hope I sound young, too.
But the crazy thing about being super old is that your ears are really big.
Yeah. It's crazy how big
I don't know if you
are.
can hear it on the podcast.
Yeah.
I can.
His ears
because
are
of the big
making
ears.
a lot of noise in the studio.
I'm sorry. If we could just fix everything in post, that'd be great.
Did we say welcome to Retail Nightmares
She
yet?
did, yeah.
I did.
I'm sorry, I had 2 beers.
This is our first podcast that we're recording since we released the podcast. Thanks, everybody, for responding so nicely to it.
Yeah, thank you. That was unexpected. Tom, what did you think about the podcast?
I've listened to 2 episodes so far that have been out, and I loved both of them dearly. They were very good episodes, and I enjoyed them a lot. I enjoyed the music, especially.
Wow, that's great.
Tom reading from a prepared statement.
They vetted it beforehand, so.
I have the pleasure of working very close to where Tom works, and he comes and visits me on his breaks. And I go and visit him when I'm done work, and we trade stories
true.
about what the weirdest thing a customer said to us was.
Yeah.
I can only imagine knowing both the places that you work, and I have visited both of you at work, and also just been to those places before I knew either of you, and been horrified by people's behavior.
Yeah, it's, I don't know. I think it's great that you guys are doing this podcast because people get kind of unaware of how they act in a retail set. I mean, like, I do it too. Like, my brain sometimes shuts off if I'm just buying something at a store.
Yeah, you turn into a real diva.
Yeah, I do. I flip out. But yeah, you're that much more cognizant of it when you're on the other side of the counter.
I'm sorry, this ice is too hot. I've heard him say that so many times.
Yeah.
What was I going to say?
Wow, I feel like we're a little bit depressed.
Oh, I can turn that all around because I got a humdinger.
Oh, yeah?
I came with something to like open this, to just break this episode wide open.
All right.
Yeah?
I worked at the Bay.
Whoa, I love the Bay.
I worked at the Bay.
The oldest company in the world.
Yeah.
Is it the oldest company
It's
in the
from
world?
like
It's older than
1670.
What about prostitution? Is that a company?
Yeah. But I worked there when I was in grade 12, and it was a really hectic time. I mean, as grade 12 is for a lot of students, but
We don't have grade 12 in Quebec. Not a big deal.
the end of school. Yeah, I worked in the men's footwear department. And it was literally just like I walked in and I was like, I don't know, I'll do this. And it was just like the section I was in, and I was like, you guys hiring? And then like they said, yeah, give me your resume. And then like they called me back and I got the job. But I think what really introduced me to it, because it was the lead up to the Christmas holidays, and so my second day on the job, I found a used condom in a boot.
What?
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
So what did you do once you found it?
He saved it.
I just kind of, I was like, oh, this is gross. And there were people like losing their minds around me, like coworkers that I told. I was like, oh, there's a used condom in a boot.
Do you think someone was having sex with the boot?
I don't know.
Yeah, you better put a rubber on that.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what they were thinking. But maybe it was like they had a crush on someone there and had this weird way
Unless
of
they're
manifesting
like,
it.
somebody likes you.
Their little calling
Hold
card.
on. You don't know what they're thinking, but you're pretty sure they had a crush on somebody.
Yeah,
The
definitely.
sweetest explanation. Someone just had some unrequited feelings.
So I asked the managers what to do, and they said, oh no, okay. What you have to do is put it in a bag and tape it up. And then I put it on this rack, and then like whoever does like loss adjustments or whatever,
You gotta wrap it up.
comes by like once a week and like takes it away to something and like writes
just
it
a
off.
crate of
An incinerator.
condoms.
Yeah, an incinerator. I would hope so.
No, it goes into like a warehouse, like at the end
Yeah.
of Indiana Jones. It's Area 51. That's what it is. All the used condoms and boots.
So that was maybe like the most harrowing thing that happened there. And also,
And that's where you met your first wife, isn't it?
yeah, Clorinda, and are happily married.
So lovely.
32 years retroactively. So after 32 years, I am free from the
Yeah,
marriage.
it's a contract.
Yeah, it was from when I was
Yeah,
one.
you didn't
and
read
she
the
was one.
prenup all the way through.
Because they were preemies.
Yeah, so that was my first like true retail experience, like day 2. Used condom in a boot.
How long did you work there for?
I think I worked there for 6 or 7 months, and then I made the mistake of talking to one of my coworkers who, this was another thing too, because she had a master's degree in computer sciences from the University of Tehran.
Oh, poor
And she
thing.
was working this job because like she applied to jobs here, and they were like, I don't
thank
think so,
you.
lady. It was like awful.
That's so terrible.
And so I was like, yeah, I'm thinking of leaving. I don't know. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. And then like the next day, the manager was like, are you going to quit? And I was like, oh, shoot. Yeah, I guess I am.
Well, it's probably for the best.
I don't know. I think I really
You
I
could
could've seen
have
that.
like raised up.
Yeah,
What's the
like-
word? You guys have had like 3 sips of a drink.
I'm almost done this Pepsi Cola here.
Hey, we're not
it's
sponsored.
Prepso.
Prepsos, Colzos.
Prepso's Pops. Not cola. It's just a soda pop.
They also had pep rallies in the morning too, but I
be
was
like,
lucky enough
sell
to
those shoes. Sell those
skip out
shoes.
on
Ignore
those.
that condom. It's okay. Get a bag.
Put it in the
At least they're safe.
Put it on a rack.
Okay, that didn't rhyme. I feel like just since knowing you, you have had so many jobs where you're like, hey, I got a new job. And then you're like, oh, I hate my manager. And then you're like, I quit my job.
Yeah,
It's
I don't
happened
know.
so many times.
How long have you been working at your current place?
6 months.
Okay, so you're about ready.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's getting
it's prime
restless.
time. Yeah, I don't know what's wrong with me.
I've seen where you work.
Yeah.
I would say it's the job.
Yeah, and it's a normal human reaction to be like, I can only be treated like garbage for so long. I think it's abnormal that I've worked at my job
Yeah.
for 8 years.
Maybe it's a good
It is
thing.
unusual to have a job for that long.
In retail. I know.
I read-
Not all.
It's weird.
I read some sort of like Business Insider, which is a great publication, by the way. I got to put in a plug for that.
Also, we're sponsored by LinkedIn.
Yeah.
I've decided.
And Linksys, great routers. But there was some article that was like, it's okay to work at a place for six months.
Well, also, because you're a musician as well.
Yes.
For those of you unfamiliar with Tom Whalen's
Hi.
artistic career, Tom does performance art and comedy writing.
Yeah.
And he's in so many bands. We're in the same band. We've been in a few bands together. He's so talented.
Sure sounds like it.
I just can't find a job that would actually put that to work.
Well, you did work at one music-related job, but everyone there seemed horrible.
Yeah. Yeah, I worked at a music school. It was pretty rough. I don't know. It was just in the exact opposite direction that I wanted to go in, where like I want to do weird and like funny and interesting things, and they were all like, okay, we're gonna make it, like we're gonna get CanCon money, we're gonna like tour with this thing, and we're gonna be like Imagine Dragons or something.
Oh man, that'd be so great.
Yeah, it would be great to Imagine Dragons and like have a gigantic like CGI dragon on stage, and then the whole band comes out of the dragon's mouth
Or butt.
Oh, I was
Or
just
butt
going to say, yeah.
at the Super
Either
Bowl.
or.
Or an evil band comes out of the butt and they battle each
Yeah,
other.
Battle of the Bands.
Battle of the butts.
Imagine Buttholes. Fights Imagine Dragons.
I'm imagining them constantly.
That's the great thing about that name, because I mean, it's like, okay, it's easy to Imagine Dragons. I just did.
Yeah.
I love
It's
it.
not a very challenging band name.
I hate saying it.
Yeah.
But
I don't know what their music sounds like.
I'm not
oh,
sure.
it's the worst. It's just it's pablum, straight up. But I don't know. Working at that school, it was interesting, like learning experience, but definitely like artistically, like in the opposite direction. I'm happy with like doing my own like rinky-dink stuff. If it turns out like half decent, I'm fine with that.
Well, I'm your biggest fan.
Thank you.
So
Thank you
never
for the
stop.
support. You're laughing at me because I'm readjusting the way I'm sitting.
No, I was just laughing at how you were sounding.
Well, thank you. Thank you both for asking me on this podcast. and making it my birthday wish to say a dream into these mic cords. Good night.
Bye. And that's the end of our podcast. No, it's not.
Do you have a specific retail nightmare that you want to share?
Yeah, I could do one, I guess. Well, this is an extended nightmare.
Okay.
The nightmare continues. It's just this one customer who I haven't seen in a while because we actually had to kick him out of the store.
How come?
He was very verbally abusive, and he always had a Bluetooth in his ear. He had a gold chain, and he was always in an undershirt, and he was just always in a huge rush and was like, I gotta go, I'm parked illegally outside. As soon as he came into the store, he'd just be yelling, and I'd be like, all right, I can help you. Like, it takes less than a minute for me to serve you. And he was always answering phone calls on his Bluetooth and yelling at people on the phone.
That's the best time to yell at someone.
Yeah, when you're in the middle of a transaction. He would always make really inappropriate comments about me, and then afterwards he would give me a tip, like, I'm paying for this. I
strange.
can say whatever I want, which really creeped me out. Yeah, he's the worst. I bike to work, and I keep my bike at the back of the store, and one day he was like, is that your bike? And I was like, oh no, what's this going to be about? Yes. And he was like, I can tell, you got a biker's body. I was like, what? Like, I have giant calves? And so I didn't say anything. And then he goes, I'm paying you a compliment. And then he threw a toonie at me, and I just felt so gross.
Jesus.
Wow.
But he paid for my laundry for the better part of a year, so that's good. One time I came back from tour. I had been on tour for about a month, and I guess he had noticed my absence.
Right.
And had inquired as to where I was. And one of my coworkers had told him where I was. And I really encourage all my coworkers to not divulge any personal information about him. So the next time I saw him, he was like, oh, you're back from tour.
De France.
Yeah, I was just biking across the country with my biker's body. And he goes, did you catch anything? And I was like, what do you mean? And he was like, STDs. And I was like, I was on tour with my boyfriend. And he was like, yeah, you should get him checked too.
Because you can get them from sitting on stuff.
Like, are you sincerely worried about my sexual health?
Did he then lift up your lips and check to see if all of your teeth were still there and how your gums were?
He touched my nose to make sure it was wet.
Right.
What a garbage piece.
Yeah, he's a garbage human.
Piece of dog trash.
I'm
working on new insults.
Dog trash?
Pig piece.
Pig piece? Yeah, all of those apply.
Yeah.
Pig piece is really good. Yeah, real pig piece.
I said it the other day in the bathroom because I was upset with someone, and I was like, "What a piece of pig!" And I'm sure people are
what
like,
bathroom?
At work. No, at home. Like, was at home.
It took you that long to just say something to yourself.
I just had to bang out an email. I was like, God, what a real pig piece I was talking to.
Am I right? Nobody?
Nobody.
I really like, there's an Italian exclamation that's porca miseria, which translates to pig of misery.
The pig of misery.
Italian is such a beautiful language.
Yeah, it sure is.
We are going to read something that was, a listener wrote in.
Oh,
It's a retail nightmare. Her name is Carrie. She owns a toy store, a children's store, somewhere in beautiful British Columbia. So we are taking submissions. Thing about submitting an idea or a story is it has to be funny and it has to be quick and it has to be easily explained because I will have had at least 2 beers. 2 glasses of wine or something.
Also, we've got an email address.
Yeah.
We've got a Facebook page. You can message us on there.
Yeah. That's actually, very private, secretive.
Just for Alicia and eyes
For lovers and other strangers.
Yeah. Send us, we actually don't send us weird stuff, guys.
It will be guys that send us weird stuff. I can already feel the
Yeah, I'm going to be
energy.
drafting up something.
You guys look really pretty in your picture. Delete.
Do you guys ever go to your Facebook?
I go to Facebook. It's cool.
Do you ever go to your messages and look at like the others?
Yeah.
There's never anything in there anymore.
I have 99 messages
There's all these
there.
emails in there that are like, hey, pretty.
Oh, shit, really?
And it's like, what? Like, that you can't call a girl pretty. Like, it's
If
not a
somebody
noun.
refers to me by a name that isn't my own, I immediately dislike them. So it's
Yeah.
like, hey, doll face, hey, doll, hey, pretty.
Even if someone calls me Jess instead of Jessica, I'm like, who do you think you are?
Yeah.
Doll face. It's like
If somebody
it's
calls me Tobin and they
50s
don't know me well, you're dead to me. That is like a very personal.
Yeah.
I don't understand people who, as soon as you meet them and introduce yourself, they give you a nickname. It's like, oh, no, it's too many syllables. They just, like, call you by the first syllable.
J.
I mean, I'm totally...
J-Seika.
Yeah. Hey, it's Tom. What's up? Yeah, I got an apostrophe on my nickname. What's up?
I'm totally guilty of this for Tom because we're old friends and I've given him so many obnoxious nicknames.
Top three.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
No, you don't want me to say
Over the
these.
air.
Timmy Tom.
This is on CB radio right now?
I call him Tomothy all the time.
That's a good one.
I don't know. Timmy Toms, Timbit.
Timbit, you've never
None of
said
those.
Timbit. You were just looking for a third one.
What about Tombit?
Yeah. I was called Tim for like 3 years.
Some people still
By
call
my
you
mom.
Tim.
I forgot.
I am Mom. No.
At a coffee shop I worked at, I was called Tim for like 3 months, and then like during a meeting, they were like, "So Tim, you're gonna," and I was like, "It's Tom," and it was in front of everybody, and I just had enough.
They're very different names.
Yeah.
Because your name is Tomothy.
Yeah, Tomothy, not Timothy. This is the biggest digression from Alicia's.
I want to hear this fan submitted. What we're saying is our stories aren't that amazing.
Mine are always sad.
Yeah, I worry that I'm always going to depress everybody too much, but that's why we have Puppo of the Week, though, to bring
Yeah.
everybody
Bring it
back
back
up.
Yeah, definitely. There's got to be someone who's been like lowered into a grave in a store before. There's something
Yeah, like
ridiculous.
actually buried
Yeah.
alive at
Like
work.
they
Too
had
expensive.
Yeah, something like that.
But yeah, please submit your stories.
In writing.
Yeah, we're not going to do a phone-in thing.
Not smart enough. You have to phone a computer.
Yeah, so this is from
Carrie.
Carrie.
And so she wrote in, once I had a mom change her kid's diaper right in the middle of the shop. Also, people like to use my bathroom. I know they do more than pee every time.
That happens at my work.
Yeah.
Tell me about that. Thanks, Carrie. That was very funny.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's very
thank you.
relatable. I mean, everybody has to use the bathroom sometimes. And there's some repeat offenders.
Yeah.
One time a guy took a book into the bathroom at my work.
What?
And it's not like...
But there are already books in there, I think.
There's no books in there.
Oh.
There's a lot of stuff on the
I left
walls.
a book in there.
One of your drawings is in there, actually.
Oh, what is it of?
A penis.
Oh yeah.
I hope my dad doesn't listen to episode 4.
Or my mom. I saw my mom and she was like, "Oh, I found your podcast." And I was like, "Oh, great." Because she didn't think she had iTunes at first. And I was like, "Mom, you definitely have iTunes."
Right.
So I was like, "Did you listen to it?" And she was like, "Well, I was going to. And then I saw that it said it was explicit. So
Okay.
I figured I better not." So Mom, if you're listening to this, I'm sorry.
No, we should clean this episode up. Let's go back.
But yeah, my heart goes out to anyone who has to deal with weird customer bathroom stuff. I mean, there's so many people whose job it is to clean up bathrooms, and that must be a nightmare.
That could be its own podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Janitor Nightmares.
Toilet Talk. My friend Mike and I have always wanted to have a podcast called Toilet Talk. Sister podcast.
My friend Katie Humphreys and I wanted one to just about talk about farting.
Oh my God.
Okay, we should
We had
just
a
make
funny name
network.
for it, but I never remember it, and Katie always remembers it. Fart talk, maybe.
It could be like a drive time, like car talk.
We should also limit
Flatulence forest. I don't know why it's a forest.
one job that I worked in, really like one of the first jobs that I ever had. There was a bathroom, and it was not for everyone to use, but the owner, who had his own bathroom in his office, never had to clean it.
It's just a bucket.
And one day, he let this drunk guy use the bathroom. And I was like, please don't, please don't let him use the bathroom. And he did. And then I had to clean it up. And this man just that's what happens, is that people just destroy them. And I can't. But, oh my gosh, I have a great retail nightmare story.
Yeah.
No, let's keep talking about toilets. I had to unclog this
Hey,
toilet
this
one
is
time.
Toilet Talk, not
Yeah.
Retail Nightmare.
Toilet Talk,
You
yeah,
know what
line
is
one.
a toilet story?
No, that's the best, please.
Can we have a telephone switchboard to
Hello, Retail Nightmares.
Tell us your toilet story.
from Jersey
Or like,
City now?
I have so many of my retail nightmares involve that.
Really? Whoa, I'm all ears.
Well, I'll do a quick one.
Okay.
At the place on Robson Street, BCBG, once somebody pooped in a change room, and another time somebody peed in a change room. Yeah, and this is it's not super high end, but it's pretends to be.
It's more expensive than I can afford.
Yeah, of course, but they pooped
Yeah.
in a change room, and it was not a baby poo.
No. Adult human woman.
That's really rough.
And then pee another time.
I want to know the thought process. Like, well, I'm in a small room. This is where you do this kind of thing. Doesn't matter if there's plumbing in here.
There was a small stool. Maybe that in their mind. Maybe they have that disorder where you
Maybe
think
like,
one object is another object.
They see a stool and then they're like, I need to make some stool.
Yeah, totally.
I had to clean my fair share of toilets when I worked at a coffee shop.
Many people's lives revolve around drinking coffee so they can go to the bathroom.
Yeah, and just like make a complete mess.
That's what coffee is for?
Yeah.
Not even sure.
Yeah.
I don't drink coffee, guys.
You gotta start.
Stop sending all
Get
these
on the 2
coffees
train
to me. Get on the 2 train?
Yeah, I remember telling you, Jessica, about this when I worked at a coffee place with a guy who was really, really into yoga.
Oh, yeah, I remember this guy.
Yeah, and he was, I mean, it's cool. It was kind of like in a, like...
He was, like, aggressively into yoga, though.
Yeah, yeah.
Bet I know him.
It was, if he would be ordering, if people would be ordering drinks and he'd be making their drinks, like, he'd be talking over the, like, loud hissing of the espresso machine and being like, yeah, so I'm on this new, like, exercise regimen. It's great. And like, most of the time, because it's a trendy part of town, people would be like, oh, that's great. I do yoga too. But he would be, like, combative and he would want to,
That's what yoga's about.
Yeah. Yeah. It was really starting to freak me out maybe a month in because he would just talk endlessly about it. And I kind of had to be like, yeah, sounds great. Okay, see you later. And if I was, like, negative in any way, he would, like, shut down and get, like, super confrontational. So one day, he put on New Order's Power, Corruption, and Lies and proceeded to have a breakdown in front of me.
Oh my gosh.
Which has kind of soured the album for me for
It's
good.
too bad.
Yeah,
it's a good album.
It's a shame. I just remember him being really upset and kind of, like, getting really flustered and going like, oh! I felt like I didn't know what he would do or if he would fight me or whatever.
Should you engage him or ignore him?
And in the background just had like and like Blue Monday playing. And I was like, this is really surreal and freaky. And he was like pacing or like kind of stalking around the store to the beat.
Didn't you say he was like in the fetal position or something?
No.
Was it child's pose?
Oh yeah, sorry. That's what I was thinking.
But I called the owner and I was like, you gotta come over here, like, this dude is freaking out and, like, I don't know, he's making people uncomfortable, he's making me super uncomfortable. And so he came by 10 minutes later on a Harley and, like, took off his aviator shades. He's like, oh, let's sort this out.
Oh, whoa.
Like, this is too much. But they worked something out, and then, like, a week later he got fired because he was stealing things. So there you go.
What was he stealing?
Oh, well,
yoga mats.
Funny thing was, he was actually stealing profits because they didn't make this special drink. They didn't make green tea matcha. And so he was buying supplies and making it and then just pocketing the money at the business.
Oh.
Yeah. So
sneaky.
Yeah. Weird dude. Had a breakdown to a great 80s album, and it was super uncomfortable.
What 80s album would you have a breakdown to?
Pete Shelley, Homo Sapien? I don't know. I was just listening to that today.
Dazzle Ships by OMD.
Oh, that'd be like really morose.
Well, yeah, and it's also like, I mean, their sampling of shortwave radio in the album is really unique.
Welcome
for the time.
to Vinyl Cafe.
We got to get someone playing guitar over this whole podcast.
Just like acoustic Spanish guitar.
No, electric. We've got to get Randy in here. We want Randy.
Randy's not welcome here.
That cafe also, they installed a fan incorrectly that was swinging around loosely for
it could decapitate
months.
you.
Yeah, all I was thinking about was the Twilight Zone movie thing with the, the thing with the helicopter.
No.
That, like, decapitated
I've never seen it.
I've never seen any movie.
Well, it's not to do with the movie.
What is a movie?
It's, anyway, I was just thinking someone was gonna get hurt, and, you could see it was off kilter when it was spinning, and I was, like, looking up at it like, this is gonna fall. and hurt someone.
You warned the owner.
Yeah, I was like, please fix this. Get someone in to fix it. And it was like comedic. Just like no one wanted to do anything. And then I ran into someone who worked at that place like a few months ago. And I was like, oh, did the fan fall? They're like, yeah, the fan fell. The fan fell on this guy's table as he was like having coffee. And it just like they had to close the store for the day.
Yeah, people that open stores a lot of the time do it because they think it's easy. And then when things need to be done, they don't know what to do, or they don't have any...
Oh, like, do you really not need to have a gas leak right now? I'm busy.
Yeah, I'm with my mom, working on my boat, or...
I'm working on my tan, getting a sweet buzz on right now. I'm
Yeah,
gonna go over there.
Sweet buzz.
My buzz is so sweet.
This buzz is the sweetest buzz. You sure that fan needs fixing?
I don't know what you said.
I said, are you sure that fan needs fixing?
Okay, I was like, what?
This is how I talk all the time.
Let's make baby voices. Having a business is hard.
Having a business is hard. I thought it would take care of itself.
Welcome to the baby podcast.
My favorite is when someone's like, here's my business. See you around.
Yeah.
I've had that happen. I'm like, but what about your business?
Yeah.
So that's great. The fan fell.
The fan fell, almost hurt someone.
He could have been sued for so much money. Like, imagine if it fell.
For all I know,
What if it fell on somebody's pussy?
What?
It was
Well,
still
you know.
spinning.
Yeah. Ouch. Or good? I don't know. I don't have one. I don't have one. Tom Whalen quote.
I want to hear, I'm like,
Song.
I want to hear a specific nightmare specific to things that I find funny. I want to tell a nightmare about your place that you work.
Okay, go ahead.
One day I was in there last year and this blew my mind. Like, I have a hate on so strong for where you work.
It's great.
But you still go there sometimes.
It is the closest grocery
Where I
store.
used to work.
The reason why I go there is because it's very convenient for me.
Yeah, it's convenient, but also it's getting increasingly more expensive for things that you can find elsewhere for and nicer places for the same amount of
As
money.
if.
My favorite thing about that place is that Tom works there.
I have a few friends that work there, and they make shopping there great, and the staff is really nice.
Yeah, I've been friends with people who've worked there for like 10
It's the
years.
customers and the selection that makes me so angry. More than once I brought home things, and I'm like, this is definitely very old.
Yeah.
I've returned so many things there that are moldy, and the cashier's always like, sorry, this happens a lot. And I'm like, oh, this should probably not be that common.
I was in there last year, and someone had brought their dog in, and the dog was licking all of the low-hanging fruit, so to speak. The little girl and the mom were, I don't even know where the mom was, but the little girl was just in an aisle, the chip aisle, the aisle I'm most often
Best
in.
style.
And I keep looking for a Cheetos product that no organic grocery store has, and the dog was licking all of the food. And so I said, hey, don't let your dog lick stuff. And she's like, Mom, that lady told me that. And then I was like, I am going to get into a fist fight at the grocery store.
With a dog?
Defending my honor.
Aw, like a little dog, like shaking a paw.
Put up your dukes.
The manager at the time, I haven't seen her for a while, someone that had worked there for a long time, really nice person. I said, how come there's a dog in here? And she's like, we've just given up on telling people they can't bring their dogs in.
Jeez. Yeah, I give people hell if they bring in dogs or bikes. Someone parked their bike in the aisle, and I was like, this is a super liability.
And there's so much bike parking on the street.
Yeah, but it was just someone who forgot their lock. People are so footloose and fancy-free in that neighborhood.
Here's the thing.
You gotta
I'm
wake
going to
up.
let you in on a little secret. The rules aren't for everyone.
Life
one.
hack.
Certain
You gotta be
people.
crazy to be here. Rule 2. No rules.
Rule 3.
Check rule 1.
Just do it.
Just do it.
Welcome to Nike Fight Club.
This great thing happened at that job, though, a few months ago when this guy came in really late and went to like the vitamins and like supplements section, and he was like, hey, is there anybody, and it was like kind of late anyway, and he was like, oh, there's no one here to help me, and I was like, oh, sorry, I don't really know much about this section, but I'll try to help you find something that you're looking for. And he's like, yeah, it's called Damiana. It's like my girlfriend's looking for, I don't know what it is. And like, I was like, what's it for? And he's like, I don't know, it's for like women or like ladies or something. And like, I looked it up later, It's a aphrodisiac.
Oh.
And he was super, super frustrated. He's like, I'm illegally parked outside, so I really got to get this really quick. And if you don't find it for me, I'm going to get really upset with you.
I love that your work
What?
sells aphrodisiacs.
Well, yeah. Anyway, so he was getting really cross with me, and I was like, I'm just going to try my best and see what I can do here. And then in walks the parking enforcement, and she's looking around too, and she's looking for stuff. And then he notices her, the officer, and says like, "Oh, hey, am I going to get a ticket out there?" And she's like, "Well, where are you parked?" And he's like, "I'm parked right there." And she's like, "Oh, yeah, I just gave you a ticket." And he turns to me and he's like, "Well, now I'm not leaving until you help me find this." And I was like, "You are so sad."
He's so abusive.
I know.
Well, it's your fault that his girlfriend doesn't find him attractive.
Exactly. It was just like this thing where I still had to help him. I mean, we didn't find it. We didn't have any in stock.
I don't think it really exists.
It does. We just didn't have it at that store. But it was so funny that he was just like, gotta find this thing because my girlfriend hates me because I'm an awful person.
I'm not a very good lover.
And I yell at people, and I get parking tickets because I park in the wrong place.
This could probably be the same guy that I told a story about because he was always like, I'm illegally parked. And I was like, there are free parking spots that are available.
I just kidnapped a couple people,
that I
too.
can see.
I think it's about the same 30 people going around.
Yeah.
And we've all had a weird encounter with them.
Let's have them all on the
We're
show.
gonna run out of...
The vitamin section at your store is very small.
Thank you.
And I go in often, and like if I have a nutrition, I was in there with a client for nutrition the other day, and there's a pretty standard, like, it's like they'll have the whole line of something except for that one thing I need. I'm like, oh, do you have the blah, 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 something, something? And they're like, don't even try.
Yeah.
So great.
Do you have gelatinous ice cubes? They're always out. I had a very humbling experience that doesn't have to deal with customers, but more so the schlepping about of bags and such.
Did you pre-write this? It's so eloquent.
Thank you. I finally went on book for this part of the podcast. But I had a thing at this current job where I threw out the garbage. And as I'm sure you guys have before, if you're...
Never.
You've
never touched this stuff.
Okay.
That's someone else's job.
Yeah, the hill people. So anyway, let me explain to you. When you put things in a trash can, it goes into a bag, and then it becomes garbage.
What?
And I had to throw out garbage one time, and it was caught on the ledge of the dumpster.
Oh, shit.
And so, obviously, I had to push it, and I jumped up to push it, and my mouth was open, and garbage water squirted into my mouth.
Garbage water is the grossest thing in the world.
Imagine something that is oily.
Oh, no.
Imagine something that is oily and cold and spicy. That's what it tasted like.
So it's just something from the salad bar.
Exactly.
So it's just oil brine.
And then I ran
Olive
oil
brine.
water.
It's oil water.
So it's just salad dressing, guys.
It was a big garbage bag full of salad dressing that I got for the hippie punk salad that I was making.
What did you do? Did you just, like...
I ran around. I made a sound like this. And I ran to a sink and turned it on full power. And then I realized that this was a special sink where you needed to open a valve in order to work. And so it was like a regular comedy of errors. And so then I opened the valve and then I just put my mouth under for about a year.
And then you realized it was a garbage water sink. Oh, no.
And then everything else was garbage water.
Yeah, I dumped the garbage into the garbage water well and it came back up.
Oh, no.
But you know what? It was like, when you get to lows like that, it's less depressing and more humbling. It's like, well, I've made it. I tasted garbage water, and I was paid for it.
Oh, that's a nice perk.
Yeah, at least you were being paid.
Yeah, this guy gave me $50 to eat this garbage water.
How much would it cost you to try that much garbage water?
$1 million.
What?
$1,000.
I've got standards. I'm a super taster.
Oh, you're
yeah, that's what I was
taster?
thinking
Imagine-
before
I am
this.
so not a super
Imagine
taster.
how much worse it would have been for me, guys.
Yeah, or
Everything's
water.
different for me.
Yeah, you're very special. How do you feel about cilantro, yes or no?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I just had so
Yeah,
much
just
cilantro on the dinner that I just ate.
You said it was bland.
Yeah. Well, like if cilantro's
We'll
the
edit
most
this part
exciting
out.
thing.
Our cilantro is
Pretty
bland.
bland. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got it from your store today. Oh, and that woman didn't know what garlic was.
Yep. There you go.
The cashier next to me was ringing this woman's food through, and she was like, "Is this garlic?" And she was like, "Yes."
Sometimes that happens at grocery stores with people and it's their first job.
Yeah,
And
I
so
work
they
with people
haven't-
from high school.
Yeah, I've
or
had that
Still
happen.
in high school.
The last time I was at that job where Tom works, there definitely was a cashier that was figuring stuff out, and it was like that. Like,
Yeah.
Is this a cowet?
I was,
this is my mom says the quilwits always have to swipe. This is why in quilwits.
I saw that happen with someone, but it was like collard greens and like burdock root, and someone's like,
That's so tough.
"That's celery," and it's like, "No."
Oh, as a person that eats a lot of strange foods, and sometimes I get home and I'm like, that seems like a reasonable price, and I'm like, oh, that was not charged as an organic papaya. That was charged as a mango. Thank you
Yeah.
very much.
Now
Sometimes
you've
it works
revealed
out
the
in your
secret
favor.
to the podcast. Now everybody knows.
Everything's a potato.
We bring everything through as
This is an orange
potatoes.
potato. This is a green potato.
Yeah, seasonal orange potato that you carve out for Halloween.
This is a selection of very small red potatoes that are bumpy.
You mean raspberries?
Yes, you
Little
got it.
potatoes, red potato.
Delicious fruity potatoes.
Let's do another one. Orange potatoes. Oranges. Mandarin potatoes.
Should we do Puppo of the Week?
Yes.
Let's do Puppo of the Week. Puppo of the
Seriously, we got a theme song already.
Week.
Yeah, it's this.
Oh, Puppo. Tom, did you want to do the first Puppo? Did you have a Puppo?
Yes, I do. I have puppos on my phone, but I mean, this is a.
No,
this is
you have to tell us, you have to
Yeah.
describe
Okay.
the
I was thinking
Puppo.
we should probably post pictures of Puppos up.
Well,
if
I'll
we
post
have
some then.
I'm going to draw drawings.
Oh, yeah.
I see a lot of cats on my way
That's
to and
Puppo.
from work. Yeah, and I see about 4 cats on
Like
my way to
4
work.
regular cats?
Did
Yeah.
you name them after the beat?
That's
Yeah.
George,
Pete Best.
Yoko.
Yeah. Yeah. So I just see little puppos on my way to and from work, and I give them a little scritch,
Oh.
and I send them on their way. That makes me sound like I'm picking them up and like be like, "Go, you have things to do," but they have nothing to do.
Get to work.
I was doing this a lot more, like petting random cats, which is probably not good for hygiene.
Whatever.
They're
They're pretty clean.
I had something that happened where I was petting a cat, and it was like stationary, wasn't moving, but it was something that was up, and I didn't know what it was, and I was like petting it, and then it seemed totally relaxed and was doing like the figure 8 leg thing, and then it made this, it like screamed, and it like looped around my left leg a bunch and like scratched and bit my leg. And I was like, what was that all about? And then it like just kind of sauntered away. And it was because it was in like fight mode with another cat that was just
Oh.
a few feet away that I didn't see. So, yeah. And then I was like, what's wrong now?
Get a rabies shot. This past weekend, I went to a family wedding that I had to drive an hour into the suburbs for, and I did it all for a dog.
Can you get legally emancipated? It's too far to drive.
Can the dog get emancipated?
They can get a dog-sipated. The owners of the dog were the ones getting married. They're lovely people, but the dog is amazing. He's bigger than I am. He's a Malamute.
They're beautiful dogs.
He's a great puppo. His name's Harley.
Oh,
And he's so big and he's so hot. He sleeps on his back to cool down with all his paws up in the air. He's majestic.
Yeah.
I hope one day to own one of his relatives. And when I say
I say that
own-
about a lot of people.
Yeah.
And when I say own, I mean like enter into a multi-species relationship.
That's what's happening is you're joining a contract where you're like, I will take care of you.
Yeah, and love you forever.
And then he signs it with little paw print.
Okay, so my puppo of the week Two things. My friend Greg, who's cute and I like to smooch, has two cats, and one is named Emma, and the other one is named Mitchell, and Emma is the mother, and Mitchell is the son. He adopted them both. They both needed a home.
That's so good.
And he got them from Vancouver's local kitchen rescue, kitten rescue, and they're really interesting cats because they're not social. So it's taken a long time for them to warm up, and then I may not see them for a bit, and then the last time I visited them, they are really friendly because they've been going outside in the backyard. They have a little bit of an enclosure so they can be cats for a bit and do cat stuff.
Cute.
And I found out that they each have nicknames that I prefer over their real names, and one is called Button and one is called Squirrel.
Okay. Which one's Button, which one's Squirrel?
Emma's Buttons.
That's great.
But I was walking around here the other day, and I'm always keeping an eye out for puppos. And since puppos can be anything, that would also include crows, even though they're terrifying.
They're smart.
Definitely includes crows.
And I saw a crow just sitting down, half asleep. And so I called the SPCA because he was clearly injured. And I was on the way, like I had to be somewhere. And I couldn't hang out with this crow. And they're like, just leave the crow alone, probably a young crow. And he's just fallen out of the nest. And so they said, let us know if he's still there when you come back. And he was. And he definitely wasn't a young crow. He'd been hit by a car or something.
Oh, no.
And so I stayed away from him. And then the SPCA came and got him. Puppo.
I hope
he was saved. It was really sad to see usually such an animal that's in such control of its destiny and its actions.
Yeah.
To be
helpless
and exhausted, and it made me really happy that the SPCA has this like mechanism, the BC SPCA, to help injured animals of all sorts. So thank you, BC SPCA, for picking up that crow.
Do we want to do Alicia's self-help corner?
Yes.
Alicia's self-help corner. Send in your questions. Don't take this advice. Alicia's self-help corner.
So, Alicia's question for the week. My name is Alicia, and I just referred to myself in the third person, so you can, I guess, unsubscribe. It's from Andy from Twitter. He works in an office, and lots of people in the office wear headphones while they're working. And when he'd like to get a coworker's attention, he says their name a few times until they realize that he's calling their name. Unfortunately, though, his coworkers don't give him the same sort of consideration, and they just shake his chair as hard as they can to get his attention. So they sneak up behind him and shake his chair when they need his attention instead of saying his name. So I don't know.
Quit your job. Those people are jerks.
Yeah, that sounds awful.
Yeah.
Why shaking a chair? Why can't you just tap someone on the shoulder? That's so aggressive.
I think it comes down to, there's this thing posted in a private Facebook group that I'm part of called Girl Gang. And maybe it's top secret. But someone was calling, a male coworker was addressing the women as ladies instead of using their first name. And there was some debate about whether or not that was sexist. And I had the same thing happen at my current job. Somebody who was in a position of management would refer to all of the women in the company as girls. And I just don't really like stuff like that. So I said, don't call us girls, we're women, and use our first name. And he was really shocked by it, but he didn't do it again. We're obviously not girls, and it's condescending. So I think that it's maybe the thing that I would do is I just address it head on, Andy, and say, don't touch my chair. If you need to speak with me, you can say my name. I'll hear you. And if you don't ask for what you want, you have no chance of getting it. There's still a good chance, from what I've learned in life, still might not get it, but it's worth a try. You could also put a sign on your chair that says, don't shake me. I'm a baby. Don't shake the baby.
That might lead to everyone wanting to shake him, though.
I know, because it's probably pretty cute.
Right? I will send you to hell on this sign.
Yeah, straight to hell.
If you have a question you would like to ask Alicia, you can tweet it at her, or we have an email, which is retailnightmarespodcast@gmail.com.
That's a good one.
Our website is retailnightmares.com, but you probably already knew that because you're listening to this.
Yeah.
Our Facebook page is Retail Nightmares. People are already posting pictures of puppos on there, which is great. We'll post pictures of those if we have them, or drawings or interpretive
Yeah,
art.
I have 2 puppos, 2 visual puppos
Stop bragging.
that I will post somewhere. I don't know, on the website, hopefully.
Tom, do you have any bands that you're in that you want to plug?
Yeah, I play in a band called Group Vision, and we just went on a tour. We went on a 5-month tour.
You missed it.
Oh, 5 months? 5-week tour. Oh, no. Yeah, you missed it, but it's okay. We're going to be playing real soon. We got an album out, and you can follow me on Twitter. I'm Rappin' Dad on Twitter, and you can check out my personal homepage at echomenace.com.
Tom's very
Jessica,
talented.
do you have something coming up?
Energy Slime is on Bandcamp, and we have a Twitter and a Facebook. Just Google Energy Slime. It's the only thing that comes up, except for rants, people ranting about
Sure. Also
oil
Energy
companies. Retail Nightmares is on Facebook. I've got like 8 Tumblrs. They're all up there.
Awesome. Well, great show, guys. Thanks for coming.
Thank you for having me to talk about garbage juice.
Yay!
Thank you for the
Garbage
puppos.
juice.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.